Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I'm the two-wheel teacher, and today I'm doing about a 2-month post-install review and my final thoughts on the brand new Aquatic AV 6x9 saddlebag lid speakers that Aquatic sent me to check out back in February. I've had them on the bike going on now for about 7 or 8 weeks, had a chance to really live with them and figure out whether or not these are a worthwhile investment. Let's talk about it. All right, so first things first, let's talk about the stuff that I really like and appreciate about this whole kit. Looking back on the install and having watched and sort of relived the install process, all things considered, it was actually really easy, really simple. There were certainly a lot of steps involved in the process and a couple lessons I need to learn, but at the end of the day, I got the deal done. The speakers work great, they sound really good, and it didn't take me more than about an afternoon to get the whole install done, which, if you've ever tried to add anything to your bike, very often a job that you think is going to take an hour can end up taking 8, 10 more hours, just because oftentimes there are things you didn't know you were going to have to do that you end up having to do, and that can really elongate the install time and make the process a lot more difficult than you might have predicted. But again, this install only took me a few hours. The guide and the install instructions were really helpful. I actually at one point wasn't sure what to do about an RGB connector, got on the phone with Aquatic, and the customer service set me straight after it wasn't even a 10-minute phone call. So the install is really easy. Let's talk to value. Now, you have a lot of options when it comes to what kind of speakers you're going to put into your bike. Are you just going to replace the ones in the front fairing? Are you going to add lower fairings and then put in speaker pods and do that? Or are you going to do like what I did and put on a kit to go in your saddlebag lids? But all told, retail value of the 6x9 all-in-one install kit currently runs at $579.99. Down into the description though, Aquatic AV have hooked up all my viewers with some coupon codes. So if you are interested in checking out and pricing out these speakers, maybe putting them on your own bike, be sure to check out those coupon codes. Those are good through the end of June 2021. But overall, the values of these speakers is great. The biggest thing that you could save on if you were to go with a set like this is that labor. I talked to the guys at my Harley shop. They said that this kind of job, they could probably bill for 2.5, 3 hours, just depending on what they might need from the shop in order to get the job done. And if you've ever had work done at your local Harley shop, you're gonna pay around $110 to $130 per hour, and that's just for labor. So that right there is an extra $300 to $400, depending on your labor rate, that you're gonna end up paying on top of whatever you pay for your actual speakers. Now, also bear in mind, $579.99 gets you more than just the speakers. If you remember back to that first video where I kind of went through the unboxing, you're getting the speakers, you're getting your wiring harness, you're getting RGB capability, you're getting an RGB controller, and you're getting the full guide on how to actually go about installing it. So, all things considered, it's a really high value kit. The speakers are super high quality. The cones are made from a really tight weave fiberglass. The cones have a tweeter and a speaker, so you don't just get the actual speaker, you also get a tweeter that's built in, and again, you get RGB capability, which is great for a little extra light, little extra flash, just in case that is your thing. Now, if you were to try and find just a set of 2 6x9 speakers that you could fit into a set of speaker lids, you could end up paying more than just the $580 that this whole kit would set you back. So, value for value, this is a super high value kit, and if you're looking to put on a good set of speakers onto your bike and possibly even do the work yourself without having to replace your speaker lids, because remember, this comes with molds for you to cut out the actual holes for the mounts and the brackets for the speakers. If that's what you're up for, and if that's the kind of project you're willing to go after, this is a great kit for you. Like many of the things that I do in my life these days, the benefits of these speakers aren't just for me, they're also for my ride or die, my passenger, the Mrs. You know her as Haley. Before I talk about the things about this kit and install that might need some improvement, I'm going to kick it to her and let her give you the passenger's experience and the passenger's perspective on these speakers.
Hey YouTube, Haley here. These speakers have been a definite improvement to the passenger riding experience. Before Mason put these in the saddlebags, I couldn't hear the music too clearly once we got up to cruising speeds. With these speakers though, it's a big difference. I can hear the music better as we're riding, and even on in-town highways where we're moving at 45 or better. If you've got a passenger like me who likes to listen while you ride together, adding a setup like this makes a big difference.
All right, guys, so that is all the positive. There's a lot of good things to say about these speakers. Overall, dollar for dollar, I think this is a really high value kit, but there are some things you might need to be aware of. All right, so number one, the waterproofing of these speakers into lids. Now, this is going to be the case if you use the kit as intended and cut in your own spaces for your brackets and mount it into your original lids, or if you've got a 13 or older like I do and you bought maybe Advan lids to put these speakers into, this is gonna count for both of those cases. But you don't get gaskets, right? So you don't get automatic waterproofing just when you do this install. So what I ended up doing is going over all the seams around the speaker, around where any of the screws and bolts are and the mounting screws, and I went over those with a liquid silicone, the same sort of thing that you might do some indoor caulking on inside of a bathroom. So I just went through every sort of seam and any little hole where water could leak through to make sure that that was really, really waterproof, and just some extra security as far as keeping the speaker into the mounts. Speaking of keeping your speakers in the mounts, I highly recommend you use some Loctite when you install any of the mounting screws or any of the mounting bolts, just to make sure that the vibration through your saddlebags isn't going to eventually knock any of your nuts loose, and you don't want to end up with a speaker having fallen into your saddlebag lid when you're going down the road. So the other thing that I ran into is that on my brake side, on my right side of the bike, where I had the extra wiring for the wiring harness sort of rolled up and tucked in underneath the side cover, that did find its way to catching the rear wheel. And about, I don't know, 2-3 weeks ago, I was riding home from work and I noticed I wasn't getting any sound out of the rear right speaker. So of course I got it home, popped everything off, took a look, and apparently the wheel had been gradually bumping in to the cable. It had, eaten through the outside of the wiring, and it eventually eaten through both of the wires. That wasn't really a big deal as far as having to fix it. I just, chopped off both ends, stripped it a little bit, rewired it, soldered it all together, covered it with some shielding, and I was good to go, back in business. So if this is a kit that you end up putting on your bike and you need to hide some of that excess wiring from the wiring harness underneath a side cover or another part of the bike, you really want to make sure that you've got it in there nice and tight and away from any moving parts, like a belt, a chain, or a rear wheel that could eventually cause some wear through the shielding on the wiring and could disrupt the connection between your stereo and your speakers. Well, all right, everybody, that is my 8-week review of the all-new 6x9 Aquatic AV saddlebag lid speaker kit. Again, if you're interested in checking out this kit or pricing it out for yourself, I've got coupon codes down in the description. Big shout out to Aquatic AV again for giving me the chance to review their product. It's been a lot of fun. It has certainly enhanced the riding experience for both myself and for Haley. So I'm the two-wheel teacher. Till next time, see you on the road.